Hola, 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 damas y caballeros, y bienvenidos a otro episodio de Using the Present Tense to Talk About the Future. This is language hack number 2 coming at you live and direct. Last week we hit you with episode 1, a quick and easy way to be able to switch between the present tense and then utilize the present tense conjugations to express future thoughts. If this is something that you're looking to be able to do to utilize what you've learned with conjugating to the present tense, and now you're looking to express some future actions, you've come to the right place, damas y caballeros. Another thing you want to do, make sure you take a look at the social media platform information that we have right here. Once again, we're dropping this from Carolina Language Solutions. I'm your host, Profe Don Omar, and here are our social media platform handles that you can find us on. If you're joining us on YouTube, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, as we drop these episodes once a week to kind of help you get along and become a better Spanish speaker. Without further ado, damas y caballeros, vamos a continuar. La palabra de hoy. This is something new that we're going to bring to you today. This is today's word, and today's word is brought to you by the verb ir, el verbo ir. Y el verbo ir significa to go in inglés. Remember that infinitives are the basic forms of verbs, right? So we talked about that in episode 1. Our infinitive today is ir, to go. Make sure you got that written down in tu cuaderno con tu lápiz o una pluma o bolígrafo o lapicero, whatever you call it. Make sure you've got your pen, pencil, and your notebook, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give you some notes here, as well as we're going to give you some practice, and we're going to wrap this thing up as we always do at the end. So make sure you stick around and find out what's going on with that. Real quick recap from last week. We got recuerdas. Do you remember? All right. So what are we remembering? We're talking about mañana, esta tarde, esta noche, más tarde. Right? These were our keywords, our tag words that we used in episode 1. If you don't know what I'm talking about, always go back and just take a look at it, and you can catch up to where we are right now. In inglés, ¿qué significa estas palabras aquí? We've got tomorrow, this afternoon, tonight, y más tarde, later. All right, so we're going to continue to keep these on with us as we go through this video today. So what brings us here? Estamos hablando del futuro inmediato. We're talking about the immediate future or the near future. Okay, so what is this? You come on, you're throwing a lot at us. What does this mean, right? So being able to describe actions that are going to happen relatively soon. In other words, we're talking about things that could happen like in 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days. Things that are going to happen somewhat in the vicinity of the day that you are making the statement. And so we're going to continue thinking in that limelight, in that process of how we're going to form this today. So in inglés, aquí tenemos algunos ejemplos. So we've got some examples, right? I'm going to read the book later, right? Talking about expressing an action in the near future. I'm going to exercise this afternoon. I'm going to buy a pizza tonight. All right. This is either, people use immediate. Some people use immediate future. Some people call it the near future. It's whatever you want to call it. All right. Just know that it's going to happen particularly soon, as opposed to, way down the road in the future. All right, so ustedes necesitan una fórmula para completar esta acción aquí. So you need this formula here to be able to complete this action. So first thing is we're going to take that word of the day, la palabra de hoy, today's word, and we're going to be conjugating it in a few seconds. But ir, we're going to need una forma del verbo ir. We're going to need a form of the verb ir. We're going to need the word a, okay? That's going to give us just think of it as the word to, okay? And then we're going to add on una palabra de acción o un verbo, el infinitivo. And remember last week we talked about an infinitive being the basic form of a verb, right? It's the to part. So we're going to just kind of combine the I and the infinitive together to give us that to and then an action. You'll see how this unfolds here in a second. All right, so antes de continuar, tenemos que conjugar un verbo, all right? Y tenemos que conjugar el verbo ir. Aquí tenemos las formas. Here we have the forms of the verb ir in the present tense, right? So we've got yo voy, tú vas, él, ella, usted va, nosotros, nosotras vamos, ustedes van, y ellos, ellas van. Now, you're looking at this like, especially if you didn't join us in the first couple of episodes, but if you don't know what the words in black are, then you can always jump into our episode about conjugating, and we discussed that information. But let's take a look at it as I flip the screen here. But make sure you've got this down. You might want to pause the video right here and jot this down if you've never seen the conjugations of the verb ir. All right, so now let's take a look at what they are in English. Yo voy, this is the one I'm going to use a lot today. Yo voy, I am going. Tú vas, you are going, right? Él, ella, usted, va, he, she, or you is going, or you are going, formal. Nosotros, nosotras vamos, we are going. And then you all, ustedes, are going, right? Ustedes van, you all are going, or y'all are going. Y ellos, ellas van, they are going. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you have those two conjugations down. Of course, you should know this. If English is your native language, you know the conjugations of the verb ir. Now, we're conjugating it this way because this is how we're going to train our minds to use this formula that we just saw on the previous slide. Okay, so remember that our previous slide was the ir, a form of ir, right? A form of ir, and aquí tenemos todas las formas. So here we have all the forms of the verb ir. This is the formula, right? Ir a con infinitivo, right? So we're using a form of ir a plus an infinitive here. All right, so let's go ahead and get to our next part. So we want to make it make sense, right? So here we have un sujeto, right? We've got un sujeto, which is yo. We're going to go ahead and add in our ir and an a. We're going to bring that together to go together. We're going to kind of just fuse those when we work with this formula, right? So we've got our form of ir to match our subject, nuestro sujeto, right? So yo voy a, right? And then we're bringing in our infinitive here, or nuestro infinitivo, yo voy a comer, right? Yo voy a comer. And then we put on a tag word, all right, from last week. All right. You can even add in what you're going to eat if you know some words in español. Yo voy a comer 2 tacos más tarde, right? We could say that. In inglés, ¿qué tenemos aquí? Well, en español, aquí tenemos, yo voy a comer más tarde, right? So I'm going to eat later, right? I'm going to eat later. This is signifying a future action, and it's obviously somewhere in the near future, okay? So vamos a practicar aquí. I'm going to walk you through this. Make sure you have your formula written down. All right, we've got our subject, tú. We've got our verb, leer, el libro. We've even given you an object here. All right, and then we've got a tag word at the end. The only thing is missing that you have to add in is going to be your form of ir. Make sure you add in the form that we took in our conjugation chart. So here's the chance to practice here, ladies and gentlemen. You can pause the screen, try to figure it out on your own, and then jump back into this right here and see if you've come up with the right answer. I'm going to go ahead and release that answer right now. Here we go. Tú vas a leer el libro mañana. All right. You are going to read the book tomorrow. Right. All right. So make sure you see we've got our form of ir. Nuestra forma del verbo ir with vas. Right. We've got a. Remember, we're bringing those together. They travel together. And then la última cosa aquí, el infinitivo. Right? So we've got our infinitive here with leer, which is to read, if you joined us in episode 1 last week, right? And then the rest, of course, mañana being our tag word. We've got more practice. Stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. Mi hermano y yo salir esta noche. All right? You want to go ahead and once again pause here, try to get this down, jot it down. Mi hermano y yo, my brother and I. All right? My brother and I. That's going to give us a subject pronoun of we. I'll give you that hint. All right. And remember, you're going to need a form, una forma del verbo ir. All right. Remember that I travels with it. We've got our infinitive already, and we've got a tag word. Ladies and gentlemen, pause now. I'm releasing the information or la respuesta aquí. Mi hermano y yo vamos a salir esta noche. My brother and I are going to go out tonight. Or my brother and I, we are going to go out tonight. All right. So there is práctica número 2. All right, vamos a continuar. Aquí tenemos los amigos, nuestro sujeto. That's our subject. Comprar, that's our infinitivo. What we're buying, our direct object here. Don't worry about that terminology. But the object that we're buying is una pizza. And esta tarde, this is our tag word. Remember, the only thing missing here is una forma de verbo ir. And you've got to conjugate that on your own. I'm not including that information up here. Right now, once again, pause the screen, ladies and gentlemen. See if you can come up with this information on your own. Meanwhile, we're jumping into the answer for those that are quickly responding. We've got los amigos van a comprar una pizza esta tarde. Los amigos van a comprar una pizza esta tarde. How do we come up with that, ladies and gentlemen? Remember, all right, that los amigos means friends, right? That's they. All right. So remember, we always go down to the bottom right-hand side of our conjugation chart. We look for ellos or ellas. In this situation, it would be ellos, right? So the friends, they, and what are they doing? They are going to buy a pizza this afternoon. All right. So let's see what else we have right here. Okay. So, oh man, we are at the point where we're wrapping it up, ladies and gentlemen. We shoot through this stuff, but it's quick enough for you to go back and rewind it and catch it back and run it back 2 times, 3 times, how many ever times you need it. All right, that helps us out in the algorithm, but make sure you get what you need out of this video. So we try to give it to you in a quick, succinct way. There's no need to wrap and string this thing out for 30 minutes. We're going to give it to you real basic. All right, so wrapping it up, we're using the present tense, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about the future. All right, so what do we have here? We've got the first question. What are the conjugations of the verb ir? All right, ¿cuáles son las conjugaciones del verbo ir? Why don't you, if you want to, go ahead and pause that, see if you can flip to your notes and find what are all the forms of the verb ir, and what does the verb ir mean, right? What does it mean also? Go ahead and tell us that. I'm moving myself around on this screen so that you can see these questions clearly and concise. What should you always include with your conjugation of the verb ir in this formula about the immediate future? What should you always include? That's a question you need to ask yourself when we're talking about expressing the immediate or near future, okay? Our next question is, when should you use the ir a infinitive formula? Right? When should you use it? Exactly. So I know you know that answer, ladies and gentlemen. Gracias, damas y caballeros, for another opportunity to share this information with you. Once again, we are Carolina Language Solutions. I'm your host, Profe Don Omar. We're using the present tense to talk about the future. Language hack numero dos, live and direct, right at you. Once again, here's our social media platform information. Hit us up. Let us know what you think. Hit us in the comments. We're going to keep bringing this sauce to you, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you like it. Like, share, and subscribe. Share this stuff out. And we're going to keep doing what we do. Nos vemos.